everyone, I'm here today with the Urban Decay Naked 3 review video. A lot of you guys requested that you wanted to know what my thoughts were on it, and so I know there's a bunch of other tutorials or reviews, but I thought I would show you my thoughts on it, the swatches, and I did use it today. I created this look using the Urban Decay Naked 3 with a couple shades from the Urban Decay Naked Basics, basically just the cream highlight shade and then the black to smoke out my lower lash line. I do have a tutorial on this look. I also have another tutorial using the lighter shades in this palette. So I'm going to kind of let you know my thoughts on this. This is the Urban Decay Naked 3 if you guys have not already seen it. It's very similar in packaging to the Naked 2 with the exception of this being a more rose gold package, and it is textured where the Naked 2 is kind of this taupey shade. And then of course you have the Naked 1, which is this felty cardboard packaging. So I do have all three. Packaging, I like that it's in a tin, so the packaging is not the issue. This is what it looks like if you have not seen it already. It does come with a brush right here. It's a double-ended brush. It has like a concealer type brush on one side and then a fluffier brush on the other, which I actually love to use for cream shadows, this fluffier side. Compare it in color range wise, it's probably closest to the Naked 2. I will hold them up side by side so you can see them all here together. But I have a review on the Naked 1 versus the Naked 2, but it's so old that I probably won't refer you to it because my camera quality is not that great. So I have Naked 1 here, 2, and 3. So Naked 1 obviously is much warmer, Naked 2 is quite cool, and Naked 3 is much more rosy toned rather than bronzy silver shades. So there is, you know, quite a variation in them. 3 matte shades. Strange sometimes looks matte to me, but sometimes kind of looks satiny, which is the lightest cream shade. And then you have some lighter rosy tones here. You have this matte shade called Limit, which I absolutely love. I'm obsessed with this color. You have 2 more kind of shimmery shades. This one, Trick, is a little bit of a bust for me. It's a really beautiful copper. I find it swatches okay, but when I apply it to my eyes, it's very chunky. Kind of reminds me of Sidecar from the original Naked palette. You have Nooner, which again is a beautiful, beautiful kind of mauve-y matte shade. Again, one of my favorites. And then Liar, Factory, Mugshot, they're all kind of more of the taupey shades. And then you have Dark Side, which is a little bit more of a gray, like gray purple. And then you have Blackheart, which is what's all over my lid, and it's like a blackened plum with some kind of rose, it's almost like rosy gold, coppery shimmer in it. So the busts in this palette are kind of the first half of the shimmer shades. The last half of the shimmer shades are beautiful. I love them. I really, really like them. So let me swatch them for you. This first one is called Strange, and I guess it is pretty matte when I swatch it. So this is Strange, and it is just a really light white, almost creamy shade. The next shade is Dust, and this is like a lighter rose gold shade. As you can see, it's quite crumbly. As I'm swatching it, it's got a lot, it reminds me again of kind of Sidecar, and this is a light frosty pink. You can see when I swatch it, it's quite crumbly and patchy, so Dust for me is a major bust. It's just crumbly and not very smooth. The next shade is Burnout, and this is a really pretty shade. This one is not so much a bust. It's a really nice, again, kind of a frosty pinky shade, and it's not super pigmented, but it definitely doesn't have that same fallout. See, it's a very like kind of flesh toned. It does have a shimmer to it. It's not super pigmented and not like quite so vibrant. So if you were somebody that liked a like really neutral look, that would be a good one to put on your lid because it's kind of like flesh toned with a little bit of shimmer. The next one is Limit, which is right here. This is a beautiful mauve matte. It's one of my favorite in the whole palette. You can see there, it's a really pretty mauve matte shade, and don't mind my really bad self-tan line there. So this one is Limit, one of my favorites. The next one is Buzz, which Buzz reminds me a lot of Dust. As you can see there, it's quite crumbly when I'm running my finger through it, so there is a lot of fallout. This one is a little bit more of a brighter, rosy pink frosty shade, but again, super crumbly. And if I swatch it for you there, It definitely swatches a lot better than Dust does. So there is more pigmentation. It is a more rosy toned shadow. So although this one has a lot of fallout, it is still really pretty. The next one is Trick, which is this beautiful kind of coppery color that I really like. I've scraped off the first layer of it. Again, it's a crumbly shade. Not super pigmented though, in my opinion. For what you see in the pan, it looks really pretty, but then it just, you know, I had to scrape off a good layer just to have it show up and not be like all sparkly fallout like Dust was. And so this one is called Trick. And that one has more of a kind of peachy copper shade to it. So once you scrape off the first layer, it definitely shows up a lot better. So I highly recommend if you're having trouble with Trick, scrape off the top. So that one is Trick. This next one is Nooner. This is my second favorite shade in the palette. It's the last matte shade. It's a beautiful darker mauve tone and I absolutely love it. It's super smooth, blends so nicely. So there is Nooner and that one is Limit. So yeah, that one's Limit, that one's Nooner. So really beautiful. I love that shade for the crease. Now the next half of this palette I find are all winners. This one is Liar. It's one of my favorites. It's a really pretty, cool toned, kind of mauvey taupe shade, super metallic, super smooth, and I really, really like that one. So that one is Limit. No, sorry, that one is Liar. So this one is Liar. It's got a little bit of like a purpley taupe undertone. This next one is Factory, and this one's a little bit more brown toned and super pigmented, super buttery. Love it. This is like the epitome of what I think of Urban Decay shadows. Really nice rich brown with some kind of purpley undertones. So that one is Factory. This next one is Mugshot, which I also love. This one's a little bit more of a, has some like silver tones to it. Again, another taupe. I'm obsessed with taupes, so that's probably why I love them so much, or love this part of the palette. So it's a little bit of a lighter shade from Factory, but still has those taupey undertones. The next one is Dark Side, and it is kind of a satiny, I mean it's not matte, but it's not super shimmery like the other ones, but kind of like a gunmetal, darker gray. So this one is Dark Side. And very pigmented, very smooth. Really love this color as well. So that one is Dark Side. And last but not least, oh, okay, hello. Last but not least, we have Blackheart, which is what's all over my lid. This one does have a slight bit of fallout, but not too bad. It's a nice dark blackened plum color with some kind of coppery shimmer to it. And there it is swatched. And you can really see the shimmer on the lid. That's what I love about it. So some funky swatches here, but I kind of wanted to show you. So these first ones are I'm not crazy about. This white one is not bad, but I'm really not. The part that I have trouble with is I love these taupey shades. I'm sure I have similar shades to these taupey ones, rose gold shades, but some of these lighter ones that I really wanted to play with the pretty rose gold tones just aren't super pigmented. The two that I mainly have issues with are Dust and Burnout because they're just not super pigmented. This is just like a flesh toned slight shimmer, which is pretty if you're looking for a real natural look. Dust is a complete fail for me because it is just glitter fallout. But, you know, I do love the palette. I've been using it a lot. I guess I don't know. I feel underwhelmed. There's a lot of colors I really love, but for some reason I just feel underwhelmed. But I'm gonna keep it anyways because there is colors there that I do like. So that is kind of the swatches for it. Sorry, they're kind of all over the place. Now, a lot of you asked how it compares to the Lorac Unzipped palette. My friend Laura, or Mrs. Lola Lynn, actually did a whole video on it, so I'm gonna let you watch her video. I will link it down below because she is awesome and she's a great friend. So instead of me just replicating the video that she did, I'm going to refer you over to her channel. She did a whole video swatching the Lorac Unzipped palette with this palette to kind of compare what colors look similar. From her, you know, swatching, it's apparent that they kind of may look similar in the pan, but they're actually quite different. I can't really pinpoint why I'm underwhelmed with the palette. I like the palette. I'm going to keep it. I love these darker shades. If I could get this shade Trick to work and be more pigmented, I just scraped it off this morning, so I haven't played with it since I've done that, with the exception of just swatching it for you now. So I haven't really got to play with that. I really love that color and I want it to be beautiful. So I can't quite pinpoint what it is about the palette that doesn't have me like jumping for joy and like ecstatic about it, but I do like it. And I think if you like these colors, if you like Urban Decay shadows, you will like this palette. I do like it. Like I said, I've been using it a lot lately. I already have another tutorial filmed using this. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like this, you can't pinpoint what it is. There's just something that you're not like super stoked about. But I do like it and I will be keeping it. So yeah, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you picked up the Urban Decay Naked 3, let me know your thoughts. A lot of you kind of said you were on the fence too. I don't really have a particular reason. I just kind of am. So I've been playing with it a lot, getting familiar with the palette, and I will definitely be doing a few more looks, probably at least 2 or 3 more looks using this up on my channel. So also I'll do some looks with the Lorac Unzipped palette as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye!